What is going on? It's March 7th, and here are the reverse line movement picks for the day. If you haven't heard of reverse line movement before, just check out the description. I've got a little summary there that might help you out, but also just keep watching because I'm going to explain exactly how it works as I go. So take this first game, for example, where tonight we have the Spurs playing up against the Kings. This line opened up at over under 237, and then almost 80% of the public bettors really liked the under. And so what they did is they moved the line down to 235.5, making the under look a little bit less appealing. Meaning, whenever there's a big difference of opinion here, bookmakers will adjust the line to make the other outcome look better. So at 237, people love the under, so they're hoping that at 235.5, people are gonna want the over more, and that's gonna balance it out a little bit better. And bookmakers do this to ensure that they make a profit too. So they'll always go for a 50-50 split whenever they can. But reverse line movement is the opposite of that. So take this game, for example, where the Bulls are playing the Warriors. In this game, the line opened up at over under 223.5, and then 67% of the bettors clicked on the over, and then they moved the line down half a point to just 223. You would expect them to move the line, in a way where the under looks more favorable. The line should go up, but instead the line went down, almost as if the bookmakers want you to click on the over. Well, the reason reverse line movement happens like this is because the sharps have money on this game. So sharp bettors are essentially the more knowledgeable bettors with a better win rate compared to the rest of the public, and the bookmakers always keep an eye on where they're placing their bets. And so whenever there's a difference of opinion between public bettors and then sharp bettors, bookmakers will always lump the public onto the outcome that they think will lose. And that way, if the under does win, they only have to pay out 33% of bettors. It becomes a profit move on their part. But whenever you see reverse line movement, it means that the sharps are betting on the under in this case. And so for this game, I would go with the under. So now that you know how reverse line movement works, I'll go through the rest of today's picks. We have a little bit of NHL and then a lot of college basketball. But before I do, make sure you hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. And let's get on to pick number 2. So the second game is going to be Capitals versus Penguins. In this game, this line opened up at over under 5.5, and then 92% of the public really liked the under, and then they moved the line up to 6.5. So if people are already choosing the under at 5.5, then wouldn't they hammer away at 6.5? It's clear that the bookmakers want you to click on this outcome. But what that also means is that the sharp bettors are clicking on the over. And so for this game, I would go with the over. Now let's go on to college basketball. There's tons of games, so I'm actually gonna just control find. But this first game is gonna be Iona versus Manhattan. In this game, it opened up at over under 144.5, with 95% of the people really loving the under, right? They hammered this one away. And so instead of making the over more favorable, they moved the line up to 145.5, making the under look even more appealing. And what this means is that the sharps have their money on the over. And so for this game, I would go with the over. This next game is going to be between, Canisius, I hope I said that right, and Fairfield. But in this game, it opened up at 146.5, with 70% of the public betting on the over. And then they moved the line down to 145.5, making the over look even more appealing, meaning the sharps have their money on the under. And so for this game, I would go with the under. The next game, I'm going to search for it again. Okay, it's going to be Purdue-Fort Wayne versus Oakland. This game opened up at over under 148.5, and even at 148, people loved the over. And then they moved the line down to 145.5, making the over look even more appealing. And so in this game, I would go with the under because that's where the sharps are putting their money. For the next game, it's going to be Jacksonville versus Stetson. In this game, it opened up at over under 138.5, with 80% of the public clicking on the over. And then they moved the line down to 135.5. So if people love the over at 138, then they're going to absolutely love it at 135. And this is reverse line movement. It means the sharps are betting on the under, and so I would go with the under. The timing of these picks is really important just because these lines are going to adjust so much throughout the day. So, sometimes it adjusts too much to where you're at another disadvantage, so be mindful of that. And also keep in mind that sharp bettors are just humans after all, meaning these aren't all going to be winning plays. You're going to have some losing days. That's a part of the strategy. But yeah, these are the picks of the day, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.